We're back live, baby. Boom. Little boom breakdown here for the UFC Washington D.C. card fight night. Overeem versus Rosen, one of the harder names to pronounce in the heavyweight division, but we got a good fight. I'm excited to see this fight. Um, both of these guys are pack a lot of power. I could see somebody getting knocked out in this fight. And Rosenstruck coming off that big win against Andrei Arlovsky at UFC 244 at Madison Square Garden, caught him with a quick check hook, knocked him out cold. And we've seen Overeem's chin tested in the past, so we know that he's vulnerable to getting hurt. And if Rosenstruck could land a big punch, I think he could probably put Overeem out. Although Overeem has had such a up and down career, he's taken his wins and losses, and he's showed that he has great longevity in the game. So he's coming off of 2 wins. I believe he hasn't fought since April of last year, beating Olenek by TKO KO. And that's a notable win. Olenek was doing really good things. He was really doing well and submitting a lot of guys, and he was on the up, come up. But in this fight, I feel like I got to go with the younger guy. Rosenstruck is just fire hot right now. He's knocking out guys. He's undefeated. He's a young prospect. I believe he's with first round management, which shows that they have a lot of faith in him, and they don't sign just anybody. They sign very top talent. So this guy's a force to be reckoned with in the heavyweight division, and this is his big chance to take out a big name in Alistair Overeem. He's been in the game so many fights, 44 and like 17 or something like that, and Rosenstruck only has 9 fights, so the experience factor is obviously going to Alistair. But I just feel like Rosenstruck is hot right now. He's going to be looking for that knockout. He's fast, he's deceivingly fast, and he puts guys out once he lands. We got that Boomachino here, fresh live on YouTube. Please let me know that the volume is okay in the live chat below. And if you have any questions, if you want to talk anything MMA related, boxing, whatever, I'll get to all the questions. And then I'll get to some fan questions later as well from Twitter and the DMs, DMs from the boomerangs, baby. So yeah, if I got to make a pick in this fight, I'm going to go Rosenstruck. I think he's going to get the KO. It's a main event, so it's 5 rounds. We haven't seen Rosenstruck in a 5-round fight. That is a factor in this fight. Overeem, I'm not quite sure if he's been in 5-round fights before. I believe he has, but they have ended fairly quick. I can't recall exactly, but Rosenstruck is probably going to end this one early. I would say 2nd or 3rd round. Then we got in the co-main, we got Marina Rodriguez versus Cynthia Calvillo. Cynthia Calvillo, she was training with Team Alpha Male. I don't know if she's still with them, but this is a number 10 versus number 9 fight. Whoever wins this fight's going to be moving up in the rankings. And excuse me. Marina Rodriguez is 11-0. She's from Brazil. Cynthia Calvillo 8-1. Very well-rounded fighters. Cynthia Calvillo's really impressed me on the ground. She's looked really great down there with her positioning and her submission skills. She seems to be strong down there as well. But Marina has a way higher TKO rate. She's got a higher percentage there, 42%. I'm trying to see, who did Marina Rodriguez fight last? Haven't seen much of her fights, to be honest, but she's undefeated nonetheless in the UFC. I know she's a fast fighter. I've seen her speed. Oh, she beat Tisha Torres, and that's a notable win for that division. She's also beat Aguilar, and Aguilar is a tough fighter, man. So those are 2 big notable wins, and very impressive on her record. And a lot of these fights go to decision that we see in this women's division here, but yeah, those 2 are 2 decisions. So we see that a lot. Cynthia Calvillo, on the other hand, She's coming off a win over Courtney Casey, who's a very tough fighter in that division as well, and then a win over Botejo. So both of these fighters have momentum on their side. Excuse me, coming off 2 wins, which is big. Momentum's a powerful thing. I feel like a lot of these fighters that are coming off wins, they come in aggressive, more confident, stuff like that. So, that's definitely going to be something to look at in this fight. It's hard to make a pick. I feel like this fight is such an even fight, but I've seen more of Cynthia Calvillo's fighting style, and I just think she has a little bit more of a finishing ability to her. She's aggressive, but so is Marina. They're both very aggressive. I could see a finish in this fight. Usually we see these fights go to decision, like I said, but this fight, particularly two girls who coming off 2 wins and very aggressive, I could see this fight going to getting finished before the 3rd round. It's highly unlikely. I think both of them will negate each other. The fight will primarily take place standing. I see Cynthia Calvillo going for some takedowns and trying to get the fight there, end up on top and land some ground and pound, maybe look for a submission. But I ultimately see the fight going to a decision. When I look at it, I feel like just based off speed from Marina, she might be able to get the best of Cynthia on the feet. She's throws a lot of volume, so sometimes that's a big play in these judges' decisions. So I'm gonna go with Marina by decision. I see some questions coming in. That's great. I will get to those a little bit later. But guys, please let me know that my volume is good on the microphone. I want to make sure this is clean cut, fucking bing, bang, boom, ready to go. Moving down on the card. Well, what an interesting main event, right? The main event's cool, but the co-main is a little bit lackluster, I must say. But then we got the big December 14th card coming up after that, so can't really complain. We got Stefan Struve versus Ben Rothwell on the main card here. Stefan Struve, a tall, lengthy fighter for the weight class. He had his struggles with the heart thing, his panic attacks, but he seems to be over that. He overcame that, which is great, and he seems to be in a better mind state. Ben Rothwell's kind of been up and down. He was out for a while, came back. I believe he took a bad loss his last fight. But yeah, this is one of those fights. Ben Rothwell has a weird style of like in and out jitteriness. And then you got Stefan Struve, who has that long style, but has always had a hard time keeping guys at bay. He's one of those fighters where he's so much longer with his reach and everything that you would think he would utilize it, but he has had a hard time really keeping guys at the end of his punches, the end of his kicks. And if he could do that in this fight, I feel like he'll have a lot of success. But we haven't seen it enough from him. So it's tough to say. Both of these guys have had their wars. We've seen Stefan Struve knocked out brutally before. Rothwell's coming off 2 losses to Ivanov and Arlovsky. And Arlovsky's kind of not at the top of his game these days. Ivanov is doing well. He looked all right with against Derek Lewis. I thought he could have won that fight. I thought that fight was close enough. He did win that fight. My bad. But yeah, Rothwell's coming off 2 losses, and then you got Stefan Struve, who is I believe coming off a win. But let's see here. Who did he fight last? Yes, he's coming off 2 wins. Big win against De Lima, and he beat De Lima, but he lost to Tybura. But he had a sub in his last fight, and that was pretty impressive because I believe that guy was a black belt, so that was really good. I think Stefan Struve has the overall better skills right now. He has a little bit more momentum behind him, so I'll probably go with Struve. I think he'll get the job done by decision. I don't think either of these fighters are going to get a finish. Although Ben Rothwell is pretty aggressive and he moves in and out pretty well, I think Struve will be able to keep him away, kind of negate that. And Struve does have good submission skills, but usually he's on his back. Usually guys take him down because he's just so tall and it's easy to get underneath him. But I got Struve by decision in this fight. We got Aspen Ladd, Yana Kunitskaya. Aspen Ladd had that bad first loss against Jermaine Durandamy. She got knocked out. Okay, so you're telling me the volume is great. All right, good. Boom. That's what I like to hear, baby. But yeah, Aspen Ladd, she was doing so good. She was really doing amazing things at the weight class. She looked so strong, but the only thing was the weight cut. Everybody saw her on the scale shaking, looking like she was dying, and I thought that was a big concern. That California Athletic State, the commission actually went and checked on her. They singled her out. They made sure that she was within range to make that weight, I believe 4 or 5 weeks out. And I've heard from sources that she's around 145 going, 2 weeks before the fight, which is great, because she usually comes into fight week around like 155, they were saying. So she's a big girl, man. I've seen her. I fought on the same card as her, and she makes me feel small, and I'm a 135er for the male division. And, I'm not the biggest 135er, but I remember seeing her like, damn, like this girl's fucking thick, like muscular, and so it seems like the weight is, as long as the weight is on point and she's doing it correctly, I give her the advantage in this fight. She has such good ground and pound. She's strong for the weight class. Obviously, Yana Kunitskaya is tall and lengthy, and she's going to try to utilize that striking where she keeps her, away and uses her reach. But I think Aspen Ladd's really good at getting inside. She has good enough striking to get girls down with it. And then, she passes really well, gets to mount, uses that ground and pound. So I could see Aspen Ladd getting that ground and pound finish. I'm going to go with Aspen Ladd. We got Cody Stamann, Song Yadong, a big fight in the bantamweight division. These two guys have really done well. Obviously, Stamann had that bad loss to Aljamain Sterling, which he's trying to bounce back from. And he did, because then after that, he had another fight. I believe he won a decision over Alejandro Perez, was it? Let's see here. I know he won his last fight. Yes, he won a decision over Alejandro Perez, which is a great win. So that shows that he could bounce back from a loss, and he's still got his confidence, and he's only lost twice, and one of them was controversial, I think. But he's fighting a hot prospect in Song Yadong, who's coming off that brutal knockout with that overhand that he had. Uriah Faber gives this guy a lot of praise, which is big, coming from Uriah Faber. So got to watch out for this guy. Cody Stamann's had more experience fighting top level guys, so I will give him that factor in this. And I haven't seen enough of Song Yadong to say where he's better than Cody Stamann. He is 3-0 in the UFC, and he has 2 big finishes, so that says something. Cody Stamann doesn't have a lot of finishes, but he's good everywhere. He's good at striking. He's got really solid wrestling. He's good in the transitions. We haven't really seen Song Yadong tested as far as the wrestling and jiu-jitsu goes. I think we will see that in this fight, because I think Stamann's going to he's going to get threatened on the feet, and he's going to want to take the fight down, I feel, which he probably will be successful a couple times with some takedowns. So I'm interested to see how Yadong reacts to that kind of thing. But I think I'm going to go with Cody Stamann by decision. It's just such a close fight, hard to pick. I think Yadong has more finishing abilities. Oh, wow. And his takedown accuracy is 100%. That's crazy. And defense is 100%. Wow. I did not know that about this guy, but that's fucking scary, because he's knocking guys out, and his takedown defense and offense is 100% right now. That's crazy. Wow. So watch out for Song Yadong. I would not be surprised if he knocks Cody Stamann out, or if he gets the decision, but I just got to go with Cody Stamann by decision, just based off of the experience factor. He's fought the higher level guys. We got people calling me fucking up everything here. I apologize. Got to turn the ringer off. You should know better. You should know better. But I believe that is the main card. And now moving down to the prelims, we got another big bantamweight fight. Rob Font and Ricky Simone. Man, Ricky Simone and Rob Font. Ricky Simone's coming off that loss to Uriah Faber. Faber showed that he's still good. He's still in the game. He's still got that overhand right. Simone was had a lot of momentum going behind him. He was doing really well with mixing up his wrestling and his strikes. He looked great in the Ronnie Yaya fight. I thought, displaying an ability to avoid submissions and show his aggression on the feet, show his strength and his ability to outposition a guy like Ronnie Yaya, who's a tough guy to beat. Rob Font, though, a little bit better boxing, I would say. Give the edge to the wrestling to Simone. And reach advantage wise, I think Font has a little bit of a reach advantage. Font has shown really good striking. He's really technical, holds his hands high, has great uppercuts, and he's hard to take down too, Rob Font. I don't think he has bad wrestling. I just don't think wrestling is his biggest strength. I think if Simone wants to have success in this fight, he takes Font down, but we'll see. But I'm gonna go with Rob Font by decision. I just think he's gonna outstrike Ricky Simone, barely, but I think he'll get the job done. I'm losing my voice doing shit. I gotta learn how to fucking talk right. Jeez. Moving down, we'll do some quicker picks, and then we'll get to the fan questions. But we got Thiago Alves and Tim Means. I just think Tim Means is more on top of his game right now. The guy does really fight mean. He's got great elbows, knees, kicks. He fights with good pressure. Thiago Alves, though, he always has that signature Muay Thai with the setups for the leg kicks. He throws that mean hook kick. He's nasty with that. But Tim Means has good reach advantage in this fight, and I think that pressure will do a lot of success for Means in this fight. I think Means will get the TKO victory late in this fight, third round. Billy Quarantino versus Chris Fishgold. Watch out for that Fishgold guillotine. A lot of people say he looks like me. We both are the neck hunters going for the guillotines. Billy Quarantino is coming off of the Contender Series. He looked good on there. I remember seeing him. He was, very aggressive, good striking, good wrestling. Chris Fishgold, short, stocky, strong guy, throws a little bit more power, I feel like, and he catches you if you try to shoot in on him. So watch out for that. I'm gonna go with the guillotine guy out there. Chris Fishgold's gonna fucking fish for gold, baby. And he's going to cash in. Matt Sales, Bryce Mitchell. I love Bryce Mitchell, man. He's a fun guy to listen to. Matt Sales, a tough guy too, though, in the weight class. But I just give the edge to Bryce Mitchell, as I think he might be able to get a submission in this fight. I don't think Matt Sales has ever been submitted in the UFC. But Bryce Mitchell's slick on the ground, and he shows a lot of tricks down there, so I think he might be able to be the first guy to get that done. I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell by decision. I don't know if he's going to get that submission. Changed my mind on the split-second decision. I'm going with Bryce Mitchell by decision. Early prelims, Joe Selecki versus Matt Wyman. Matt Wyman, the guy has made a comeback, but he did not look great in that last fight. He took a lot of damage, and I don't think that was a good sign. Joe Selecki is a new guy coming in, and I favor the new guys when you're talking about a scenario like this where you got kind of, no disrespect, but kind of a washed up veteran. And then you got a guy that's new, that's coming in, that's really trying to make a name for himself. Joe Selecki by TKO. Lavana Souza, Verna Jean de Baroba. I'm going to go with Lavana Souza just because she's easier to pronounce. Fuck them. We got Makhmad Muradov and we got Trevor Smith. I'm going to go with Trevor Smith by decision. And that is that. So now let's get to the fucking nitty gritty here. Fan questions. Carl Coons. Who is the greatest bantamweight and the best heavyweight of all time in your opinion? All-time questions are always hard to answer. As of right now, I'd probably say Dominic Cruz is the greatest bantamweight of all time, but MMA math is so fucked up because it's like he beat TJ, he lost to TJ, he beat Cody. Oh no, he lost to Cody, but then Cody lost to TJ, but then TJ lost to Cejudo at 25, and then Cejudo comes up and beats Marias at 35. It's like, what the fuck, man? How do you determine who's the best of all time? I don't understand. It's who's the best right now. That's the only thing we know, and that is Cejudo. But if Dominic Cruz can come back and take that title back, it's Cruz, because look at what he's done in the weight class over time. So, yeah, hard thing to say. Best heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. It's the winner of the trilogy fight between Stipe and DC. That's what I think. Whoever wins that fight, best heavyweight of all time. Boom. Prince Aurora. What do you think about Usman versus Colby? We will talk more about this fight next week. I'm so excited for this fight. What I think is it's two guys that have similar styles as far as pressure and wrestling goes. That are gonna try to both come forward. Who's gonna be the one to come forward more? I give Usman the power advantage slightly. We haven't seen him knock a lot of guys out, but he has a little bit more strength and power look to him. And I give Colby Covington the more volume advantage. The guy just does not stop. The way that he broke Robbie Lawler and flustered his ass was very impressive. You don't see that a lot with Robbie Lawler. So who's going to come forward? Who's going to break first? That's the question in that fight. I think the wrestling might get negated. I think it might end up a striking fight. And if that's the case, I lean towards Colby just because of how much volume he puts out. UFC Gambling Addicts. Hey, Brian, keep up the good work, bro. I'm able to catch this one live, and the volume is beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate that, guys. If you can give a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would mean a lot. The more thumbs up, the more subscriptions, the more we get this shit kicking. And maybe I, have a job or something after fighting. Who knows? That's the goal. Carl Coons, volume's great. Thank you. Nate Wheeler, what up, boom? What's up, Nate? Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Brian, Jacob Kilburn is in for Fishgold. Oh, and Mallory Martin is in for Souza. Short notice replacements. Thank you for that. I forgot all about that. There was short notice replacements. They didn't have them up on the site. But with that said, I'm going to go with the same people I went with before because I know nothing about these two because they're newcomers. But yeah, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And then we got Steelers Respect, hashtag Tony Time. Yes. Champ shit only. I'm a big fan of Tony. I really can't wait to see this fight. He is the one guy besides Gaethje that I think will give Khabib a lot of problems and potentially win that fight and give Khabib his first loss. I think the biggest interesting perspective to this fight is that both of these guys are winners. They've never lost. Well, maybe Tony's lost before, but they haven't lost in a long ass time. Khabib's never lost. One of these guys has to lose, and it's going to be weird to see one of them lose. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out. But we will talk about that as that get closer as well. My goal is to fucking take this guy out on January 18th and rebound and fight Sean O'Malley in Brooklyn, April 18th. The man without a plan is not a man. You got to have a plan. I'm not looking past this guy on January 18th. I got my sole focus ready because every fight, your next fight is your biggest fight. Steelers Respect 90. How can Conor finish Jorge if they fought? He can't finish Jorge if they fought. I mean, he always has that piston left hand. It's always a potential, but I just don't think Conor should fight Jorge Masvidal. I think that his ego is telling him yes, but I don't think he really wants to get involved with that. The BMF title is the biggest, most attractive thing right now because of what Jorge and Nate have done. And I think the fact that Conor is fighting at 170 is a big telltale sign that that's where his vision is going. He has 3 big fights this year, he's saying. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Cerrone, Jorge, Nate. That could be a thing. We'll see what happens. It's all about the money, right? Let's move to Twitter. Our City Coffee. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate it. They sent me some coffee. It's delicious. Also, check out Matt Brown, Immortal Coffee. That shit's real delicious too. Who's your favorite underdog on the card? I haven't seen the lines yet, but I think Mallory Martin, now that you brought her up, I think that she's a live dog. She's taking the fight on short notice, but, she has a lot of hype behind her, and I've heard good things about her. I just haven't seen a lot of her fights or anything, so I can't talk too much on her, but from what I've heard, I'd say Mallory Martin has a good potential to upset her opponent in this fight. Let's see if we have anything on the gram. We got DMs, baby. Let's see what we got here. Also wanted to talk about some new matchups too. Who did they just book? They just booked They just booked Joanna versus Weili Zhang, man. This is a big fight for the women's strawweights. Joanna's trying to reclaim that queen title, and Zhang looks like a crazy fireball, man. You don't want to mess with her. The way she ran through Andrade was like no other. And Andrade is like a scary powerhouse, and Weili Zhang made her look like nothing. So, Joanna has to be on point in this fight, but this is a great fight for strawweight. I was curious if they were going to do the Rose fight, but I guess Rose wants to hold out, maybe get a more of a quote unquote tune-up fight, if you would call it, and come back and make her way back up. But man, can't wait to see this one. This one's March 7th, UFC 248. Big fight right there. Fish Gold is out. Yeah, I just heard that. Colby versus Khabib at welterweight will be a good fight if it happens. Steelers respect. Yeah, that's an interesting fight too. I don't think that fight will ever happen. I think Khabib's got like 2 or 3 more in him. Probably Tony, maybe Gaethje, and then we'll see what happens. I don't really know a third. Wilkes McDermott, who do you have in the Usman Covington fight? We just got a question on that. I don't really have anybody yet, but I'm leaning towards Colby as much as I'm not a big fan of his shtick. He does have a lot of skills, which I did a video on that. His skills are unbelievable, and I think that his character and the way that he fools people to hate him kind of takes away from how good of a fighter he really is. And it's almost like a disguisal. I feel like it's almost a trick. Like, you go in there thinking this guy's a bum just because the way he acts, and you're gonna get fucking mollywopped by that guy. So do not overlook Colby. I don't think Usman will. I'm rooting for Usman, but I'm leaning towards Colby. Just, based off styles, that volume that he puts on, man, it's unparalleled. So tough to match that shit. Let's see any other big matchups that they got coming up on here. Macy Chasson versus Nico Montana. That's a good one. That's in New Mexico, February 15th. There's no other really big matchups. I mean, I've already talked about Conor Cerrone, and we got Khabib Tony, which I can't wait to break those fights down. But yeah, that should be it for this one. UFC Washington coming up December 7th. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, thumbs up, subscription. Really appreciate that. And I will be in the cage January 18th on that Cerrone Conor card. I can't wait to get back in there and show who I really am, because that last fight was not a good representative of who I am in that cage. And I'm coming back with a vengeance. I'm going to Colorado for training camp to train under Mark Montoya. I'm really excited. I have a great, he gives off a great energy to me. I really believe in him as a coach and his view and perspective on things, and I respect him. So I think that will play a lot. He will be in my corner, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, man, just gonna get out there and let my shit go, and that's have fun. That's when I do my best. So thank you for tuning in. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BrianBoom135, and we will be back next week for the December 14th card. Boom.